You've been told your whole life that buying a home is the single best financial decision you will ever make. Your parents said it, your bank said it, the entire real estate industry, which makes a combined $100 billion a year in commissions, said it. And if all of those people are simultaneously telling you the same thing, you should probably start asking yourself who benefits from you believing it. Because here's the problem. The math on homeownership is broken, and by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how badly you've been lied to about what a house actually costs, because the number they never show you will genuinely make your stomach hurt. And I'll tell you right now, the math gets significantly worse before it gets better. Stay with me. Let's start with the official narrative, because when people say real estate always goes up, they're not lying exactly, they're just doing something more dangerous. They're quoting the right number and omitting every other number that matters. The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index shows U.S. home prices have returned roughly 4.4% annually over the last 30 years. Sounds reasonable? Sounds like an investment. But here's where the mainstream explanation starts to break, because that 4.4% figure is nominal. It doesn't account for inflation. Once you adjust for inflation, real home price appreciation drops to somewhere between 0.5 and 1.5% per year, depending on the market. Robert Shiller, the Nobel Prize-winning economist who literally invented the index they use to measure this, has said publicly that homes are not good long-term investments when you factor in all the costs. And if the guy who built the measurement tool is telling you the measurement is being misused, that's probably worth 5 minutes of your attention. But to understand why the real return is so different from the headline return, you first have to understand where all the money actually goes. And this is where I need you to meet someone. Meet Sarah. Sarah is 30 years old, earns a solid income, and does everything right. She puts 20% down on a $500,000 home. That's $100,000 out the door immediately, because that's what financially responsible looks like in the current market. She locks in a 30-year fixed mortgage at 6.8% on the remaining $400,000. Now, Sarah goes home that night, feels like a responsible adult, maybe pours herself something celebratory. What she does not do is run the full amortization table, because if she did, she would discover that over 30 years, she will pay approximately $530,000 in interest alone. That's right, she borrowed $400,000, and she will repay $930,000. The bank, which did not paint the house, did not lay the floors, did not plant a single bush in the front yard, will collect more money from that house than the house actually cost. And we call this building wealth. But here's where it gets worse, because the mortgage interest is only one layer. And I promised you the full number, so here it is. And this is where the true all-in cost enters the story. Because on top of that mortgage, Sarah will pay property taxes, nationally averaging around 1.1% of home value per year, or roughly $5,500 annually on a $500,000 home. That's $165,000 over 30 years, assuming prices don't rise. They will. Then she pays homeowner's insurance, conservatively $2,000 a year, or $60,000 over the loan term. Then comes maintenance. The standard rule in real estate is 1 to 2% of home value per year for upkeep. On a $500,000 home, that's $5,000 to $10,000 annually, because roofs fail, HVAC systems die, and pipes have opinions. Over 30 years, that's another $150,000 to $300,000. So let's add it up, because this is the number nobody puts in the brochure. Sarah's $500,000 house will cost her, conservatively, $100,000 down payment, $530,000 in mortgage interest, $165,000 in property taxes, $60,000 in insurance, $200,000 in maintenance. That's $1,055,000 in all-in cost for a house she bought for $500,000. But wait, there's still one more cost to go. And this one is the one that financial advisors almost never mention, because it requires people to think about what they could have done with their money instead. And that calculation, the opportunity cost calculation, is what I'll show you in a moment, because it's the number that changes everything. The opportunity cost works like this. That $100,000 down payment
if invested in a broad stock market index fund, historically returning 10% annually, would compound to roughly $1.7 million over 30 years. The additional monthly cash difference between renting a comparable property and servicing that mortgage, which in most major U.S. markets runs $500 to $1,000 per month in favor of renting, invested consistently over 30 years, adds another $1 million to $2 million at historical market returns. Now, at this point, I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but the house went up in value. And you're right. Let's say Sarah's $500,000 house doubles to $1 million over 30 years. That sounds incredible, except Sarah paid $1,055,000 just to own it. She didn't make money on the house, she lost money on the house, compared to every dollar she put in, while simultaneously forfeiting the compounding returns she could have generated by investing the equivalent of her down payment and cost differential. And this is the scam. Not an illegal scam, not a conspiracy, the most elegant kind of scam, because it isn't wrong. It works for plenty of people in plenty of situations. But the narrative that renting is throwing money away while a mortgage is building equity is the financial equivalent of calling the lottery ticket a retirement plan, because someone technically wins. You're comparing the best case output of one option against only the most visible cost of the other. That's not analysis, that's marketing. And the housing industry, the mortgage industry, the real estate agent industry, all of whom get paid only when you buy, are very, very good at that kind of marketing. So the next time someone tells you renting is throwing money away, ask them which number they're not showing you, because I just showed you all of them.